let's have a look at the decks that these players were bringing to bear in opposition to the Grixis Energy deck of the British team. We do have Michael Bonde on blue-black mid-range. If you've been with us throughout the weekend, you will have seen this deck plenty of times before on your screens. Raf, it is more or less the king of the hill in Standard.
This is probably the most successful deck of the weekend, and I can totally see why. It packs the two of my favorite cards of this format. The Scarab God, which is absolutely uncontested in this format. It's just the best card. It just piles up abilities, 5/5 for 5, reanimates creatures, cannot die, scries, deals damage, does everything. And alongside the God, Clean Sleeve, Siphoner.
These two cards really have just done so much work throughout the entire weekend as limitless value engines, and they've helped Michael Bonde get there. But he is going to have to overcome Christoph Green's Grixis Energy list. Now, this is playing, obviously playing the Scarab God. It's also playing Glint Sleeve Siphoner, but Raf, there are some key differences because of the red splash as well.
It's packing more removal and probably a little less versatile.
Versatility?
Versatility, yeah. While the blue-black deck is playing Champion of Wits, this deck is playing more removal. So maybe the Grixis Energy deck will be stuck with like removal they're not gonna be fit for the situation. So we're gonna find out.
Yeah, we'll see. And both of these players, of course, are able to transition to a more controlling deck post-board, as we'll see in Games 2 and perhaps 3. But we move on now to Modern and have a look at this quite innovative approach to Titan Shift from Andreas Petersen. 4 copies of Bloodbraid Elf are fantastic in conjunction with many of these Farseek type effects. The reason for this, not only does Bloodbraid Elf cascade into things like Farseek Secure Tribe Elf to get more lands onto the battlefield, Raf, so much of the time, thanks to these rampant growth effects, you will be able to cast Bloodbraid Elf on turn 3.
And it's been preying on John the whole weekend. Now it's going to face another challenge that I think they've played each other during the Swiss.
Almost certainly.
I'm not sure who ended up winning, but Grixis Shadow is, I think it's a challenge.
Yeah, Grixis Shadow was once the de jure best deck of the format, and Titan Shift has got its work cut out for it here. When going up against Grixis Shadow, that Ben Jones will be attempting to hustle and bustle with here. This is the more combo-y version with 2 copies of Team of Battle Rage, in addition to all of those cheap threats that hit hard and hit early. Thoughtseize, Stubborn Denial, of course, backed up by Kolaghan's Commander. Some excellent interaction. 4 copies of Snapcast Damage to do it all, 1 Mulgeen. This deck has proven its worth in Modern, although it has fallen off in recent weeks, Raf.
So what we can expect in this matchup. So the only counter spell in Ben Jose's deck is Stubborn Denial. That would deal with Cape Shift, but that would not deal with Primeval Titan.
So these guys actually did play each other in the last round of the Swiss, of course, as we said. And Bonde's team won, naturally. The Danish team won. They actually didn't pick up a loss all weekend. They just got 1 draw earlier on. But these guys were on a very, very hot run. As for how things went between Grixis Shadow and Scapeshift, we'll see how things go there. But we're going to wrap things up now with Legacy. Thomas Enevoldsen has brought 4 color control, 4 color mid-range, 4 color check pile, Leovold special, whatever you're going to call it. This deck plays some of the very best cards in the format. But unusually, especially in contrast to many of the Delver decks that see so much play, this has a much higher curve with plenty of 3 drops. He is going to be up against his opponent here, Charles Eliatamby on Eldrazi. This list, I don't want to call it a fringe list, Raf, but it's certainly not as popular in Legacy right now.
It's not that was not the most popular deck played today and yesterday. That's for sure. No,
and it plays that classic Eldrazi curve out there, inspired, of course, by Eye of Ugin and Eldrazi Temple. That is the way that one goes there. The players are seated and in readiness now, so my friends, it is a very exciting time for us here at Team Coverage because we get to bring you the final of GP Madrid. Let's head down to the feature match area right now and get underway with the very last match of this tournament. Let's get to it. Hello, my friends, and welcome to coverage of GP Madrid. We are wrapping things up once and for all with the finals here in Spain. Michael Bonde, Andreas Petersen, and Thomas Enevoldsen on the left-hand side of your screen, closer to the camera there. And on the other side, we have a team of Brits, Christoph Green, Ben Jones, and Charles Eliatamby. My name's Riley Knight. I've got the great pleasure and privilege to be joined by my good friend, the Hall of Famer, Raphael Levy. Raph, it's great to have you alongside us here as we get underway with some modern. Andreas Petersen, Ben Jones, Scapeshift versus Grixis Death Shadow. Who are you favouring in this finals matchup?
It's hard to say. I would say Scapeshift, but I could see the game going either way. And since the Danes are first, I'm playing first on every single game. In every single game, I would say the Danes are favourite.
Things are going to be very important there, that the fact that the Danish players are all going to get to go first. But now we have an Inquisition of Kozilek taking care of that Sakura tribe elder there. And we are going to see how things move forward previously. Right now, previously, I should say here, this team has they've come across each other before, these two teams. They played each other in the Swiss. And the British team won in Legacy, but the Danes got up and about in Standard and Modern, which means that in a previous match, this matchup at least went in the favour of Scapeshift, Raph.
All right. Ben Jones taking a lot of damage from his lands, which is kind of what he wants to do.
That's the kind of the point of this deck here, as we see a Thought Scour, bin both a Snapcaster Mage and a Stubborn Denial. He's going to draw a card from that Thought Scour. And we'll see what he wants to deploy here. It looks like it's going to be a Delve creature of some sort, whether it's a Tasigur or a Gurmag Angler. It is. All rise for the Banana King. Here he is. The Golden Fang comes into play. I think in many cases they do prefer to have the Gurmag Angler, as that activated ability is not generally too relevant, whereas the 5th point of power often is. But anyway, you slice it here.
Not a very timely search.
No, more like a search for yesterday, really. As Petersen fishes out another basic mountain here. And a Serum Visions now from Ben Jones. See what he can find as he will start to swing in with this enormous beater. Just the 1 mana 4/5. And the worst 1 mana threat in his deck also. The 1 mana 4/5 is just about the worst 1 mana creature in his entire deck.
So now he's going down to 12 life. And he could play a 1 mana 1/1.
A 1 mana 1/1. Street Wraith is going to make it a 1 mana 3/3 if he does indeed have a Death Shadow.
Now it would be a 1 mana 3/3.
Took people quite a long time to wake up to the power of Death Shadow. It was in the format for a long time before it actually started to be leveraged as one of the tier 1 strategies in Modern. But Death Shadow certainly has made its mark on the format and seems to be here to stay as the Thoughtseize picks off that Primeval Titan here. Scapeshift in hand for Petersen, but not enough lands for him to enact that combo kill that the deck for which the deck is so very famous.
It's not very far from it. He just needs like a search, anything to search.
Tapped Steam Vents. Tasigur comes across.
A Farseek would help him fire it on the next turn.
All right. Well, let's see what Petersen has here.
You know what would be awesome here? Blood Red Elf.
Oh, yeah. Yep, pressure, plus a bit of extra action here. Valakut is the play, so Petersen didn't seem to come up with the goods.
But he can still draw a Farseek next turn. Because he would play his 6th land, play the Farseek, and have 7 lands for
he doesn't actually need the land to be untapped. No, because he would have 6 mana to be able to cast something. Even a Sakura Tribe Elder would do it. Search for Tomorrow would do it. Search for Tomorrow would, because it puts into play tapped. Untapped. Yep. So any of those land search spells will do it for Petersen here. Let's see if he can find what he needs. Tasigur comes in once again. Encore performance, knocking Andreas Petersen down to 12. It's going to be joined by a Death Shadow as well. A little 5/5 for 1 mana here. Or sorry, even less.
It's a bit bigger.
Less life here for Ben Jones. So
7/7.
7/7. 1 mana 7/7. Archetypical of this deck here. An emblematic threat for the Grixis Death Shadow list. And Petersen.
It's a bolt. Oh.
Petersen ships. So Ben Jones could be punished for some greed here. He's attacking in for very close to lethal. A Snapcaster Mage, however.
Into what? Into Thoughtseize?
Into Thoughtseize.
Oh, he would be down to 4. That's exactly what. He can't go down to 3 before it would just be good enough.
And as a result, Petersen has to pack them up. Ben Jones navigating that one masterfully there as a Thoughtseize presented a lethal threat with the Death Shadow. And unfortunately for Petersen there, he was unable to deploy that lightning bolt. As we see now, other matches still in progress. We're going to jump across to one of them just as soon as we can here. Standard and Legacy still going at it. And it's going to be the Legacy players that we check in on here. Thomas Enevoldsen playing his 4-color check pile, and Charles Eliatamby on a deck we haven't seen too much of since the days of its ascendancy, its dominance in Modern.
And what was it again? Atlanta?
Yeah, it's Pro Tour Oath of the Gatewatch, where we had all sorts of realities being smashed at a time when both Eldrazi Temple and Eye of Ugin were legal in Modern. Now, of course, Eye of Ugin has departed the format. But of course, the deck has gone very, very well in Legacy, as we now not only have copies of these 2-mana lands. There's also, of course, Ancient Tomb and City of Traders.
So that's 13 lands that provide 2 mana on turn 1.
Yes, that's how many that Eliatamby has, in addition to the 4 copies of Ancient Tomb and Eldrazi Temple. He has 3 Eye of Ugin and 2 copies of the City of Traders.
It's a very aggressive draw on Charles' side. And Enevoldsen is on 10 with 2 Desert Shaman. And this Reality Smasher, it's hard to deal with. And that's while Thomas Enevoldsen had a deck to beat the other Delver decks. These guys are just too big.
Very hard for Enevoldsen to really tussle with a 5/5. He does have a copy of Murderous Cut in hand, or sorry, in his deck at least. Not sure if he's drawn it, but a Baleful Strix is really what he's looking for here. But on such a low life total, it may not even be enough, given the tramply nature of the 5/5 there. Endless One also another 5/5.
I would say the Eldrazi deck has a little edge in this matchup, because the answers are a little ill-matched.
Also gets to play Cavern of Souls as well.
Yeah. To dodge all the Force of Will and.
Here's a Kolaghan's Command. Bring back a Leovold. Deal 2 damage to an Endless One.
And Leovold, not really that good, not really shining in this matchup, because the Eldrazi deck is not looking to draw cards. He's not targeting your creatures or your permanents. So he's just trying to smash.
Enevoldsen is going to take that Endless One off the battlefield, so it turns out to be a bit of false advertising for Endless One there, as it did indeed have an end. And Enevoldsen is going to eat up that Endless One as well, so a double end for the Endless One. To call the ACCC here, because we've been sold a false bill of goods here. Looks like we've got a result on our standard table as well. The Brits are really getting it done here with Christoph Green beating Michael Bonde in game number 1 there. So Christoph Green with Grixis Energy has beaten Michael Bonde's blue-black mid-range deck.
That's the first time we see them in a bad spot, the Danes.
Yeah, the Danes have had a pretty cruisy weekend so far, as a Hymn to Turak gets rid of Karakas and an Ancient Tomb here. So Enevoldsen now plays a Leovold. All he's got to get through is just a 5/5 Trample Haste and this 3/2 Matter Reshaper.
He can triple block.
He can.
That would be his he's out, I think.
Got to go down to 1.
How do you beat a 5/5 Trampler? You just triple block.
Just triple block it easy. So Charles Eliatamby.
That's what he does.
Forces the triple block here, and we're going to see.
There's no creature in the graveyard to actually gain life. It's going to go down to 1.
So these creatures now will be.
Is he taking a mana to deal 2? So no, you can't do that. You can't.
Looks like Enevoldsen did float a mana here.
I don't think that works. I don't think there's a time where you have the mana and you can eat the creature, because it empties at the end of the.
Yes. No, it doesn't look
I don't
like
think that works.
Enevoldsen wasn't able to do it here.
I think he wanted to keep the. I don't know. I don't know why he wanted to keep that. That was a way to deal 2 pretty easily.
So, Enevoldsen on 1. Charles Eliatamby on 20. Life totals don't come too much more lopsided than this in a regular game of Magic. And right now, it's a Hymn to Turak getting rid of that Eye of Ugin. Back to Eliatamby, who is once again going to force the chump block here. Away goes the Reality Smasher. Enevoldsen up to 3. And he has to find something here. He has to find something to deal with this 3/2, or it's going to knock him out right here and right now.
And
that'll be a clean sweep of wins for the Brits in games number 1.
And even then, oh yeah, I was about to say he would net a card, but not with Jace.
Jace the Mind Sculptor comes down and does what it does best. Eldrazi Mimic.
It's two creatures.
So 2 creatures. Jace can return one of them, but the other one's going to be difficult to deal with unless he can find something here. Couple of cards in hand for Enevoldsen. I don't know if they're what he needs.
I think there's a Force of Will, which is very much irrelevant in this. As a Strix.
2 mana.
Strix would be pretty good here.
Baleful Strix is a great one here for Thomas Enevoldsen.
One of them. Oh, that's a lot of Force of Will.
Draws a card.
Is it Flusterstorm or a Snapcaster Mage?
And now Jace is going to Brainstorm. Enevoldsen confident that he can get to the to the end of his opponent's next turn without an unsummon effect from Jace the Mind Sculptor.
He needs to find a way to grind back, because if he just keeps chum blocking or trading, he's not getting back. And he's dead to a Smasher.
Polluted Delta takes Enevoldsen down to 2.
So he needs to have something else, because otherwise he could just block the Smasher and take 2 from the Mimic if Charles doesn't draw a creature.
Enevoldsen goes and fetches a Volk after having
he probably has something.
Thought about an Underground Sea there.
Maybe another Strix.
So shuffles away some of those cards here from the Brainstorm. And he's found a Preordain. Ooh. All right. And a Diabolic Edict off the top. There we go. That's nice.
That's okay.
Well, it's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing.
Better than nothing. It's going to get rid of that Eldrazi Mimic at least.
Or the other guy.
Or the other guy. Now, of course, he has to do it in his opponent's turn in case that reality, in case the Mimic gets something worth countering. And here's a Thought-Knot Seer. Another threat for Enevoldsen to overcome here. And it means that the Eldrazi Mimic is also going to be huge. So, Diabolic Edict in response.
That's going to kill the Smasher. The
Reshaper.
The Reshaper.
Here it is. Snapcaster Mage. All right, instead. And that'll be a Lightning Bolt on the Eldrazi
that
Mimic.
was indeed
So that's a nice one here, because that means that the Reality Smash... Oh, sorry, once again, the Matter Reshaper doesn't have that free attack.
He's stabilized here.
Yeah, he's done a really good job at stabilizing. Yeah. Baleful Strix is really important for him to stick around in the face of that 4/4. And now the Snapcaster Mage is holding off the Matter Reshaper. Thomas Enevoldsen gets another bite at the cherry, another Brainstorm Raff, and this is going to be really, really interesting to see if Enevoldsen can get himself back in it.
That Preordain was great. Like having the Snapcaster, the last turn was great. Last Brainstorm turn, that was great.
So, Enevoldsen thinking very carefully about what he wants to do with his Jace. Maybe he needs to draw another card with his
he can also bounce this Thought-Knot Seer. That would deal with a creature on the opposing side. That would also tap his opponent's land on his next turn.
It's going to be a Brainstorm, however. Enevoldsen draws 3 cards with Jace here. He's confident that he can keep the Hordes at bay. What's Christoph Green hoping to draw here? Does he have anything in the way of removal?
He has a Warping Well. He has 1. He has a GTED, which would be pretty good. He has Smasher. That would be great. He has 2 Dismembers.
So he's drawing live. He's got a lot of cards.
Oh, yeah, he has a lot of ways to win. Yeah. Smasher would be great. Another Thought-Knot Seer would be okay, I guess. Chalice would be fine.
Another Brainstorm here for Enevoldsen. Digs another card deeper.
He has a few bad cards.
And he's a fetch land. Down to 1. Fatal Push on the Thought-Knot Seer is a nice one as well. It's going to replace itself. And Enevoldsen draws a card. So what happened there was the Polluted Delta was sacrificed to enable Revolt. The Fatal Push was cast to remove the Thought-Knot Seer. Enevoldsen drew the card that he put back on top of the Brainstorm and then shuffled away with the Polluted Delta. So tidy piece of housekeeping there.
Great sequence.
Very good sequencing enabled Thomas Enevoldsen to keep the card that he wanted from that Brainstorm. And he is now back on 1 life.
So one card you would like to see when your opponent is on 1 is Endbringer. But in that situation, it just doesn't do anything. Because he doesn't have 6 mana to cast it. If he plays a land to cast it, then his City of Traders goes away. And then he gets bounced by Jace. So not the draw you want to see.
An attack now with the Matter Reshaper as Eliatamby drew a Cavern of Souls for the turn. And Enevoldsen seems to have a response with another Snapcaster Mage.
This game is getting out of control for Christoph here.
And Kolaghan's command is a fantastic one for Enevoldsen, as it's going to be a straight up 2-for-1 here. 2 damage to the Matter Reshaper. Let's see what other ability he wants to activate here.
Shaman?
Bring back a Leovold Emissary of Trest.
Ooh.
Oh dear, Reality Smasher in hand now for Eliatamby. And it looks like things are tending to go the Danes' way here, not least of which because Andreas Petersen has also won his game against Ben Jones.
Why wouldn't you play the Smasher here? Why would you keep it during your turn? If it gets bounced by Jace, it's still fine. I mean, you just get rid of one counter and you one loyalty counter, and you don't have your opponent brainstorm.
Well, Eliatamby has chosen to keep it in hand. Whether that is a mistake or not will remain to be seen here.
And if your opponent has Diabolic Edict, he's going to do it anyway on your next turn. So
3 cards off the top now for Enevoldsen. Another brainstorm for him. Pretty quickly replaces the 2 that he needs to there. He's a man with a plan. 2 mana. We know that he's got Leovold in hand. Looks like he's going to open the account with something a little different, however. See what he's got. I don't know how this deck has managed to fit basics into its list.
It's only 4 colors. Come on.
Come on. Well, what are we going for here? Tomo? 3 lands. It is the Emissary of Trest. Captain Handshake. Down he comes. So now, Enevoldsen can quadruple block to prevent a smasher here. And a Baleful Strix, a nice follow-up play. So does Eliatamby just slam and jam?
Well, he could try, but that's not going to do much.
Well, it is going to be the Reality Smasher here, and Eliatamby has to pass the turn.
Something he could have done last turn.
He plays a 5/5 trample haste creature with his opponent on 1.
Pass.
And passes.
Can't attack. It's pretty sad to put your opponent down to 1 and not being able to finish it. And with a Jace on the other side, you see, yeah.
Very tricky indeed to be casting big 5-drops in the face of a Jace the Mind Sculptor.
So when do you start Fate Sealing?
I don't know if it's just yet here for Enevoldsen. He's thinking about it.
Are you feeling confident enough to start Fate Sealing here?
That Leovold does provide a bit of beef, and it is able to block that Reality Smasher. But I tell you what, I wish Enevoldsen, I bet Enevoldsen wishes he had a Thought Knot, a Deathrite Shaman here. Stabilize that life total a little bit here. Another Brainstorm from Jace. Jace is pretty easy to play with. If you're winning the top one, and then from there, depending on how badly the game is going, you activate the lower abilities. Except for the ultimate, of course.
Yeah, he's not feeling safe enough to start Fate Sealing.
No.
As soon as he starts Fate Sealing, you know the game's closed.
That is just
the game's finished. Yeah.
It's not the ultimate that kills you; it's the Fate Seal. Here's a City of Traders, and with the Numazawa's Jitte. So what does this mean here?
This means that Charles will be able to maybe win with another Smasher. Oh, is there another one?
He's going to equip up the Reality Smasher here. And this is just going to absolutely go to town on Enevoldsen's board. A nice draw for Eliatamby as we see a quadruple block here.
Yeah, he could win with another Smasher.
Sorry, just a triple block. It's enough combined power and toughness there to take care of the Reality Smasher. But now, that Jitte...
And he's going to kill the two last blockers, so if he has another Smasher, he's drawing live. That was a great draw.
Eliatamby on the back of this Umezawa's Jitte, continue to push himself forward. Another Brainstorm here from Enevoldsen. This has been the 4th or 5th time he's done it, and he's working very hard, digging very deep to keep himself in this game. Another Baleful Strix here.
And he's still dead to... oh, not yet, because he needs to equip it. So he's not... Oh, no, he doesn't have to. He's the 5 of Trample is going to kill him. If he has one. He has played at least 2. So...
Got to find another one. And now, Enevoldsen recognizing what's up. He attacks. Kill this Baleful Strix. Says Eliatamby, but he's happy to take 2 off the Snapcaster Mage. Goes down to 18.
Another
Leovold, and that means that in response, the Jitte will kill the Snapcaster Mage so as to avoid drawing Enevoldsen an extra card. And here's another Brainstorm for Enevoldsen, who is just ripping through his deck. 2 cards back on top, and it is back to Eliatamby, and you can see that Enevoldsen well and truly adopting the philosophy of this check pile with the way that he's configured his graveyard. At least his lands are a little bit neater here. Back to Enevoldsen now, draws a card. Just sweating those draws.
With that hand, yeah, we'll start
Fate Seal.
Here, yeah.
It's the Fate Seal.
He has ways to deal with small creatures, and the only thing he doesn't want to see is a Reality Smasher.
What a marathon game here for Thomas Enevoldsen. He's finally picked his moment. It looks like he's confident that the cards in hand will be enough to push him over the line now that we see a Fate Seal. A Mimic comes down, picks up the Jitte.
He has a way to deal with it, so Fatal Push or Bolt. Oh, he can kill both of them.
Colligan's Command is going to take care of the Mimic, but he chooses
even
to bring
better.
back a Snapcaster Mage instead.
That's gross.
Toot toot, the value train has left the station, and your conductor today is Thomas Enevoldsen.
And he gets the Strix as well.
And he's going to bring back
the
Deathrite
Shaman.
Yeah.
That's too much value, man.
Too much value for one man here.
Oh, for one card, the Callaghan's Command.
Callaghan's
It was
Command.
a 1 for how much?
1 for a squillion. I don't know how many. Another Fate Seal gets Jace up to 6 here. Enevoldsen with all the options in hand. What a game we've seen, ladies and gentlemen. This is the sort of stuff that the Legacy format can offer here. Eliatamby unable to push through that 1 point of damage.
Leave on top, attack, go.
Oh, no, it's just the worst feeling in the world. Here's an Eye of Ugin.
He cannot activate it yet.
Not just yet.
He needs 2 more lands. And by the time he gets to 2 more lands, he's going to be dead. And
that is that there. Enevoldsen unbelievably snatching a victory out of thin air there. He'll be very, very happy with himself for having done that. Charles Eliatamby's just got to read him and wait, what went wrong? He just couldn't push through 1 point of damage with Enevoldsen on 1.
There was this
at
one
least
turn.
6 turns.
This one turn where the Brainstorm of Jace was crucial.
Brainstorm into Preordain.
Into Preordain was Snapcaster Mage, and that was
quite an astonishing game of Magic we saw just there. But it's time to head back over to the land of Modern now as we see Petersen and Ben Jones equalized at 1-1. Looks like Jones is getting in with a little 3-3 here. Search for tomorrow for Petersen as he continues to find those lands.
It's going to be a Primeval Titan here. Are you ready?
You got that feeling?
I have the feeling.
You got that feeling?
If it doesn't work, then it's fine, but,
Well,
might as well call it now.
Let's get a time check here. Let's just look at our look at the microwave and see what time it is. Is it in fact prime time? No, it is not.
Oh, that's actually pretty good. That's a blocker, and that 3 damage that leaves a lot of.
So we
that leaves a few outs.
Do you have an active Valakut here, with 5 mountains in play?
Would be 3 damage. Put down Ben to 5.
And Ben Jones, not a lot out of the board for him. Obviously, no copies of Fulminator Mage or anything else like that. He's looking at something like a Disdainful Stroke, perhaps.
And Christoph won his match.
Christoph Green.
So this is probably one of the last turns of this tournament. If Ben wins.
Christoph Green has beaten his opponent 2-0 here. A straight sets victory for the Grixis Energy player.
It's going to go down to this game.
And if Ben Jones...
Maybe it's finished here because... Oh, wow.
If Ben Jones can push through lethal at any point here in the foreseeable future, Secura Tribe Elder being targeted by the Lightning Bolt.
That's great because Andreas... Well, it's great for Ben because if Andreas decides to sacrifice it, what is he going to do with the Mountain, with the Valakut? Is he going to deal 3 to Ben? Because if he draws a Primeval Titan, it's not... is it lethal?
A Primeval Titan would be if he sacrifices the Secura Tribe Elder here.
For 3 damage. Otherwise, it's not, right?
If Petersen draws a
Primeval Titan, let's say he sacrifices it and draws a Titan.
Yeah.
It would be lethal if he dealt 3 damage.
If he deals 3 damage upstairs.
However, if he doesn't deal the 3 damage, if he leaves Ben at 8, he doesn't kill him on the Primeval Titan.
No.
So that's what's all about.
So here, Petersen is going to fetch up a mountain.
But maybe he's dead.
3 damage upstairs here. And if Ben Jones can find a way to push through those final points of damage here, the Death Shadow, as it stands right now,
if he has
is an 8/8.
Would it work with a fetch land?
An attack.
Oh, no. He played a land already. Another bolt. No, another bolt wouldn't have worked. Let's see. Drum
Petersen
rolls.
off the top.
That's a Valakut.
Doesn't find what he needs. He's on 3, and an extension of the hand is going to wrap things up once and for all here. The Danish team going down to the British team of Christopher Green, Ben Jones, and Charles Eliatamby. And look at the smiles on their faces, ladies and gentlemen. They can't believe their luck. They are going to the Pro Tour, and they've done it with a GP trophy under their belts. Congratulations to the 3 wizards you see on your screen. What an effort from them, overcoming the Danish trio of Bonde, Petersen, and Enevoldsen, who didn't pick up a loss all weekend until the finals. Congratulations to Christoph Green, Ben Jones, and Charles Eliatamby, the champions of GP Madrid. Raphael Levy, it's been quite an astonishing magic of that was a great match. A weekend of magic here, and I mean, is anything going to top that match of legacy that we saw between Enevoldsen and Eliatamby? What a game!
What a game! It was not relevant in the game score, but what a game anyway.
What a game all the same. As we bring it back to the booth, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome you for the very final time here to the tournament floor at GP Madrid. It's been fantastic to have your company throughout this weekend, and before very much longer, we'll be joined by a representative of this team that has just taken out the trophy. But in the meantime, Raph, I'd like you to cast your mind back through the weekend, and what are some of the lessons we can take away from what we've seen across all 3 formats this weekend?
So the blue-black control, blue-black mid-range, dominating at least the choices of the teams. It was everywhere. We had at least one in the feature match area every single round in the winning teams. So the Scarab God, Glintstream Siphoner, probably the 2 best cards of the format, I would say, in standard. Bloodbird Elf made a splashy return in modern, but in the end, it didn't win.
No.
Jace did not win either. It was Grixis Shadow that took over.
And in Legacy, your final thoughts there to wrap things up, Raph?
And in Legacy, Eldrazi did pretty well, but Delver is still around.
Yeah, Delver's still everywhere. There we go. Now, that is the way that things are for the end of this tournament here. And Raph, it's a fond farewell to you. Bon voyage and au revoir.
It's been a pleasure.
Baguette and supermarché and all that to you, my French friend. Out you go, my friend, as we are joined by a representative of the winning team here. Congratulations indeed here to the representative here who has, brought his hardware along with him. We welcome now Charles Eliatamby. My friend, congratulations to you on your victory. Whack that on your noggin there, and we will have a chat about what went on. It's been a very long and grueling weekend for you.
Oh, yeah.
But finding your way into the top 4,
Yeah.
what an achievement for you guys.
Well, yeah, we started off yesterday 2-0 into 2-2. So we thought, this is our day over. One more loss, we're out. And then we won our first match after the 2-2. And then it just kept on going and going and going. And then when we made day 2, cool, we made day 2. So 50% chance to cash because of the show low teams. We might cash, we'll have a good time. And then again, we kept winning and winning and winning. Yeah, and it was a great tournament. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. The deck choice is quite funny because I was originally planning to play D&T.
So you were playing Eldrazi.
I was playing Eldrazi Stompy, and I was originally planning to play D&T, and that sort of fell through. So I thought, damn, I've got 2 days to find a legacy deck. How am I supposed to do this? So I message everyone I know, and someone has Eldrazi Stompy I can borrow. And I thought, okay, cool, I'll play a few leagues. Didn't do too good. Didn't feel too good coming into the tournament, and I think I X4'd the weekend. Okay. Which isn't too good, but it's like great for no practice with the deck, and yeah.
You've done really well. So talk to us about the deck choice in both in standard and in modern here. The Scarab God is just reigning supreme in modern, so this was just locked in straight away, just finding the best shell for it. As your teammates join us here, congratulations, boys. Just having a chat about how things went there. But talk to us about the process for standard. Was it just all about the Scarab God straight away?
Well, that's the first thing we went to. We went to Scarab God is easily the best card in standard, hands down, so we tried to find the shell. We've been watching a stream by Matthew Folks, and he's been playing blue-black a lot. And we weren't too comfortable with the deck. So we went with Chris here has been playing Grixis since the deck was after the energy bans. And so we thought we'd run it back. Did pretty well. What was your record? X? Quite bad?
It's quite bad. All right. Okay.
So that wasn't. We played against the matches we thought we were good against. We tended to lose because they had metagamed their decks towards Grixis energy. So Ben carried us most of the way.
Done all the carrying there in Modern.
The Shadow Master.
Playing Shadow, I mean, this is a deck that has sort of fallen off the radar recently. Did you as a team really feel like it was something, just very quickly, did you feel like it was a force to be reckoned with?
No, not at all. He's very good with the deck, so we thought we'd run it with him. Yeah.
Well, congratulations to all three of you making your way to the Pro Tour. You got some shiny new hardware to enjoy, take home. Congratulations to our victorious team here. We're going to wrap things up from GP Madrid. I'll get you to stick around for just a moment here as we close out the stream. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for taking part in the success of today's and this weekend's stream, as of course it isn't possible without your support and continued viewership from around the world. It's been fantastic to hang out with you here from Madrid. I'd like to thank all, of course, the judges, the tournament staff, and everyone else who has made this weekend of Magic possible. It's been terrific to have their support and their positivity throughout the weekend, and of course the coverage team that I'm so privileged to work with every weekend. But ladies and gentlemen, that is that from Madrid. We will see you back here next week, of course, from GP Phoenix. You're not going to want to miss it. But for now, it's Riley Knight from GP Madrid saying good night. Congratulations. There we go. Well done indeed. And we'll see you at the Pro Tour. Fantastic. No worries. $1 million magic. Well done. That was